Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to do Seven Ages of Men by William Shakespeare. The first line of the poem is very interesting. All the world's a stage. This is one of the most famous lines from William Shakespeare. And all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man plays many parts. With the dramatic line of this poem, which starts and tells you that this whole world is considered a stage by William Shakespeare, he moves on to explain that here all the human beings perform their allotted role given by the God. Every individual, that means every human being, has to go through 7 acts. That are 7 stages of man's life. This is the central idea of the poem as well. Now here Shakespeare explains that men and women in general, the people of this earth, of the world, are merely the performers. They are the players in this world. They have their exits and their entrances. That means when they are done with one part of their life, they move on to the second part of their life and they perform accordingly. So this is what we have on a stage, that the performers perform and then they exit and then they come back with a second performance with the entrance. So similarly, we human beings also perform 7 stages or 7 acts in this world. And when we are done with one act, then we move on to the second act, and that's how we play till we reach the last, that is the 7th, and then we die and move out of this world. It's a very interesting concept by William Shakespeare. He has taken a general assumption of a human being's lifespan, life cycle. He considers that in particular age group, people perform in similar manner all throughout the world. And it is true if you consider it like this, that in youth you are different, in teenage you are different, when you will grow up and become an adult you are different. That means your thought, your way of living, your lifestyle changes as you grow. So William Shakespeare divides this lifespan into simple 7 stages, and he says that we all take part in it. Sometimes many of the people's life are cut short and they don't go through that end stage of 7. But here Shakespeare is generally making a comment that we all have to perform 7 parts in our life. Then he moves on to explain you about the first stage of the human life. His acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. The first stage in this phase of his life, man appears as a child in the world. That means he is pointing out that when we enter this world, when we are born in this world, we are a child. As a child, he is a helpless creature. He cries in the arms of his nurse for one reason or the other. He cries and vomits. Now, it's a general phenomenon for every child in this world that a child can't speak. When the baby is born, the babies can't speak. They only know how to cry and demand, and all their demands are, met because they cry for it. So this is one thing they know to do first. And then the second is to vomit out food when they are full. So these are the 2 performances done by the child, and every child in the world does the same. Then he talks about the human life when the child grows up into the school-going age. The next phase of his life, man appears as a complaining child in the world. So here the baby has grown up into toddler and toddler into child. Now the child can go to the school. So here the boys and the girls of this age are usually complaining in nature. Here he says, then the whining schoolboy, whining means complaining, with a satchel and shining warning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. So here the child is unwilling. Most of the children are. If you look into your family and in the society, you will notice that the children complain and they don't want to go to school because they have fun in their home, and sometimes they are happy to go to school. And the shining morning face, of course, the children are very sweet and they are bright, and their mothers make it sure that they have very neat and tidy look when they go to school. So creeping like snail here means that even they are all dressed up and they are nice and they are going to school, they try to make it slow, the process of going to the school very slow, creeping like snail. That means they are totally showing their unwillingness to the task they are given, and that is to go to school and educate themselves. Now William Shakespeare over here again very generally picked up the general phenomena of this age, of this childhood age, when the children complain and they also go to school to study and they also show the unwillingness for that. So this is all happening around the world in the human being's life. We all go through this stage. This is the second stage. Now this is for today. In the next lecture, I will explain you further about the third and fourth and fifth stage and so on. Thank you.